Hi, welcome to the fifth video. Let's see what we get. Okay, another Queen's Gambit. Huh, and he actually takes it, okay. Now, I'm going to be a little bit interested if he does in fact play that move. So now he's basically saying if I were to play like e4 or something, he's going to play b5 and then he's going to try and hold on to that pawn. So to stop that from happening, I'm just going to play a4. So if he can't really play this now. Because if he did, I would just take and I'd come out ahead. So now I can continue. I just had to play a4 first. Interesting thing is this e6 move, because he's already kind of blocked in his own light squared bishop. Like, unless he's just going to move this pawn again later, like, how does this bishop develop? I can either play, like, queen c2, or I can't really play queen c2, because if I do so, then I'd be dropping the pawn. So, yeah, I think I just have to ignore this and have a pawn center. It's kind of like a Grunfeld that we're playing here. Grunfeld advanced variation, or exchange variation. Yeah, exchange. So I get a pawn center, maybe I get a king attack going for him, but his job is to be proving that this pawn center isn't working out for me. Now I'd like to play bishop a3, just to kind of mess with his castling ability. What I'm also thinking is bishop e5 here, just kick his knight. His knight might move there. And then what? After the pawn is pushed, not him taking it. Maybe I could just play f3 and then play knight to e2 as a development. That looks good. I think I'll just do that. He doesn't have a dark squared bishop, so it doesn't really matter as much that my f file is, f diagonal is a little bit opened. So yeah, it's kind of hard for him to castle now. Maybe I could start pushing these pawns and open them up in the center after I castle. My bishops are doing good work. Well, mostly my dark squared bishop. My light squared bishop kind of I need to play e5, I think. Okay, so with b6, he's probably planning to play like... No, that doesn't make sense, because he could have just played b5 in the first place. I was thinking b5, b6 into b5, but you know, he's probably planning to fianchetto then. Okay, knight to e2, just to develop, because my pawn's on f3. Uh-huh, okay. I'm kind of debating between moving my queen to d3 and then playing e5, or just castling and then going forward. Because he doesn't have many pieces developed, so I don't think king safety is important that yet, so I think I can go with this. I don't want his knight to just come in here. Oh, but then again, I have the pawn here, so I don't know what I'm thinking. Oh my gosh. Kind of just wasted a move, but it might be okay. Okay. Let's see. This just wins me a pawn, doesn't it? It's like, let's say take, queen takes, bishop takes, takes there, and then... Yeah. So this just wins me a pawn. And if he just castles or something, then I can just take this b6 pawn. Okay, so we're a pawn up. That's pretty nice. My pawn on the c3 square is pretty nice because he's blocking these two squares for his knight to go to. If I want to move my bishop, I don't have to keep it there, but it's kind of isolated, so maybe I want to castle and then get a rook over just to help support it. There's also the option of... Huh. Okay, well, There's also the option of me playing the bishop to d4, then it's kind of attacking his knight through his rook. So I don't know how he would defend that. I guess he would have to play the king to e7. So like, rook there, take. He'd probably just castle actually. Oh no, he can't castle. Okay, so then maybe after all of that, so my rook's here, knight's there, probably fianchetto, and then I can play the bishop there, attacking his knight and then his rook, and he'd probably have to play king e7. Since I'm a pawn up, I'd probably like to keep the bishop, or probably not be that interested in keeping the bishop. Exact opposite of what I meant, because, you know, want to trade down. But maybe I'd prefer to just trade my bishop for his bishop, because the knight would probably be less valuable than the bishop as we go down in material. So yeah, I'm good with this. Okay. So yeah, now I can continue with this plan. Or not. Whatever. It's fine. Okay, I'm gonna develop this rook here. Try to invade onto b7. Okay. So I'm taking the initiative now. He has to respond to my threats. Okay, he protects the knight. I was expecting something along the lines of the rook coming here, me taking the pawn maybe. Maybe with the bishop instead of the rook. No, then if he does that, then he just... So take the rook, then he takes, and then I could take that pawn. That would allow his rook to come in, so I'd be trading activity for the pawn. So I don't know. I think I'll just double up here. I can still play rook takes. Maybe I should have been doing that. I don't know. Okay, I want to preserve this bishop, so probably just drop it back here. I think now I'll play knight to d4. So that way I can trade the knights and then get my bishop hitting that square again. And if he moves it away or something, then I can hit the e6 square. Okay. I believe I can still do this. And I'm still hitting that e6 pawn. Yep. I'm hitting a7. So yeah, this exchange just went in my favor. Because I have the bishop versus the knight. And then I also have the rook hitting the pawn and the bishop hitting the pawn. So the bishop versus knight kind of situation is that obviously the bishop is better in these closed spaces, but if I can just open up the game, then my bishop's long diagonals will be way better than his knight. So I have to figure out how I can do that. Maybe I want to get my king active, like king f2. Also thinking about rook to e6. Just hit that pawn. And he wouldn't be able to move with his king, so he'd have to play the rook there. Getting king active seems the best to me. His rook is kind of forced to stay passive here. His king is also cut off. He can't really move the rook to the only open file because mine controls it, so his position looks pretty good. Okay. Okay, that's a free pawn. Take with the king or the rook? Take with the king or the pawn. Thinking pawn, I'll have them all in one island. But king, I'd have an isolated pawn, passed pawn, so I think I'll go with the king. Also, it kind of opens up the file if I were to take in that manner. So I have to get this rook behind this pawn if I can. Okay. This looks like a good time to go ahead and do that. Okay. I'm also kind of trapping his rook a little bit. Like if there was something blocking this file, I would probably win it, but there isn't. Okay, I think I'll just push. Thinking about playing the rook here. So rook here, takes, king there. I can play king here. And then I come out on top there, because I'm still the pawns ahead. Yep, okay. So I was kind of worried if he could get to this pawn here, and he'd get a passer, but yeah. Okay, one pawn forward, because if I was going to play two pawns, he could potentially just push down and then lock things up. Okay, so I want to just ignore this and push forward, trade this pawn for one of these pawns, and then get rolling. He's going to run out of moves soon. And once he moves his king, I can get in, maybe hit that pawn, or just ignore everything, or ignore the pawn and then just go forward for this pawn bunch. I'm kind of low on time from talking. Oh, okay. Well, that kind of helped my situation with the time. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.